This one isn't just shocking, it's disturbing. We're talking coerced sex acts, alleged minors, veiled threats, and a jaw-dropping $20 million lawsuit aimed straight at Bronx rap legend Fat Joe. His former hype man, who stood beside him for 16 years, just pulled back the curtain. And what he claims happened behind the music is pure nightmare fuel. Was Fat Joe really living a double life? Was his empire built on silence, fear, and abuse? Let's unpack it all. This is Fame and Feels, and you're about to hear one of the darkest stories in hip-hop today. Last Thursday, Fat Joe's longtime hype man, Terrance T.A. Dixon, filed a 157-page lawsuit in the Southern District of New York. And we're not talking petty claims. This is a scorched earth, no-holds-barred exposé. Dixon alleges that Fat Joe, real name Joseph Cartagena, was at the center of what he describes as a criminal enterprise involving coercive labor, sexual manipulation, violent intimidation, and even engaging in sex acts with minors. He's asking for $20 million in damages, and y'all, the claims inside this lawsuit, they're straight out of a horror movie. Let's start with the most headline-grabbing part. Dixon claims he was forced into over 4,000 sex acts over 16 years. Yes, 4,000, and allegedly all to maintain his standing within Fat Joe's inner circle. He says it began with subtle psychological pressure, then escalated into surveillance-based humiliation, public sex acts under direction, and total psychological control. Quote from the lawsuit: "These sex-based abuses were not private, incidental, or isolated. They were integral to the culture of dominance Fat Joe created." And Fat Joe's associates, allegedly present, allegedly complicit, allegedly silent. Now here's where it gets even more chilling. The lawsuit details disturbing claims that Dixon personally witnessed Fat Joe engage in sexual activity with underage girls, including 3 specific Jane Does, some as young as 15. One was allegedly a 16-year-old Dominican girl who performed sexual acts on Fat Joe in exchange for money, clothes, and get this, a paid cell phone bill. Another, a 15-year-old Caucasian girl, allegedly received a Brazilian butt lift paid for by Joe and was flown between Miami and New York. And the third, a Latina teen, 15 going on 16, who Fat Joe allegedly fell in love with and housed just blocks away from where his own wife lived. According to the suit, this wasn't hidden. It was happening in the open. At concerts, tour stops, condos, and even luxury properties. You'd think things couldn't get darker, right? Wrong. The complaint claims that these alleged acts took place on corporate yachts and inside mansion properties owned by Market America. Yes, corporate yachts. Dixon says Fat Joe would orchestrate orgies involving dancers, minors, and himself, while watching, recording, or directing from the sidelines. And this wasn't a secret. Dixon claims security staff, management, and even surveillance cameras captured it, but no one stepped in. Let that sink in. The lawsuit also drags some very familiar names into the mess. Jay-Z's Roc Nation is listed in the suit, accused of helping cover up the abuse by concealing, transferring, and manipulating Dixon's authorship rights and royalties. Dixon alleges they intimidated and obstructed his legal efforts, adding fuel to a much bigger fire. Is the music industry complicit? This isn't just about one artist anymore. Dixon is calling out the entire machine. Fat Joe ain't staying silent either. His legal team, led by Joe Tacopina, the same guy who defended Trump and A$AP Rocky, fired back with serious allegations of their own. Tacopina says Dixon is retaliating after Fat Joe sued him first in April, accusing him of slander for claiming Joe flew a 16-year-old across state lines for sex. He called the new lawsuit a fabrication, a media pressure tactic, and insisted law enforcement was already investigating Dixon and his lawyer Tyrone Blackburn for extortion. Fat Joe's team says they're not backing down. They're ready to expose the lies. But is this damage control or deflection? This isn't Fat Joe's first brush with controversy. Back in 2010, he and members of his entourage were detained after a college student in Wisconsin reported a sexual assault following a performance. At the time, Joe's team called the woman a pretender groupie looking for a payout. But now, with this new lawsuit on the table, people are revisiting that old case with fresh eyes. Was there a pattern all along? Or is Dixon weaponizing Joe's past for revenge? So what do you think? Is this the beginning of the end for Fat Joe, or just another Hollywood-level takedown attempt? We want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like this video if you found it eye-opening. Subscribe to Fame and Feels for more raw, unfiltered celeb deep dives. And turn on that notification bell, because this story, it's far from over. Until next time, stay safe, stay woke, and keep those receipts ready.